as well. So we are ready to get into this match, heading on over to Consulate for our third match of the day here on the stream. And wow, look at that social vote, one of the more one-sided votes that we've seen so far at SI. 82% favoring Team Liquid. No surprises there, and I feel like I'm just gonna say it's a matter of how much they're gonna win by.
Oh, that's not what you want to hear if you're a Japanese faithful. I know, of course, there's a lot of passionate fans from that region looking to see their team that made it through the open qualifiers succeed. But as, of course, we now enter in towards that ban phase. And as I said, Liquid had quite a diverse picking in their bans in recent history on this occasion. Let's see what they lock in as the timer depletes. And it's going to, on this occasion, be the Thatcher. So they banned that against W7M, Ints, and Santos in the last couple of years with pretty good success. Most recently, it's W7M. It was a 7-1. And of course, with that Thatcher taken off the board, it does make it a little bit more difficult on the attack to open up the main breach in Garage and clear utility elsewhere on the likes of Yellow Stairs. But you can counter that in the current meta by dumping utility and getting good vert control. They'll need to be mindful, though, as Nomad's taken off the board, making those flanks a little bit more volatile.
That was going to be actually the ban I was going to speak about, the fact that we haven't seen, obviously, too much from Liquid there, besides banning Thatcher. So what were they going to ban on the attack? Nomad off the board. Mirror going to go out here, so I kind of expect it's going to be Maestro, then banned out in the end, maybe. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I got that one incorrect. It's Cyclops who have taken out the Mirror as expected, so Liquid not going to ban out the Maestro. They'll obviously go the Valk. I was going to say that it was either going to be the Mirror or the Maestro. In the end, it was the Mirror. So Valkyrie taken off as expected on Consulate, usually a stock standard, especially for Team Liquid. And that is pretty much a straightforward ban phase. Guys, nothing too surprising there that we can really point out.
Yeah, not particularly. Nomad, again, typical favors or leans into the aggression of this map. Mirror, a nuisance to deal on almost every map, and teams don't really like playing against it, particularly Cyclops, as they are quite aggressive. And then Liquid, not wanting to be forced onto the IQ, ban that Valkyrie off the board. Of course, you can throw those cameras a long way away outside, hide them in the trees, hide them in the bushes, really tough to find. And Liquid just obviously not wanting to deal with that. But of course, with that ban phase concluded, the Montang did slip through, and Aniton is going to pick it up in round one.
Yeah, and obviously good that you brought that one out, especially with Cyclops on the attack, something that they didn't really get to do much of in their last matchup against G2, of course, starting out on the defense first, where they did lose the majority of the rounds. So now they've got a really good opportunity to play off this Monty in their attack here on Consulate, get off to a good start. But there was a match that was played elsewhere on the B stream today. If I remember, on Consulate, it was between Dark Zero and Empire. And Guz, that was actually very defender-sided. Both teams went like 5-1 on their defense. So for Cyclops, that's something that they might have to look at here, that their attack needs to be perfect to break down this Team Liquid defense.
An upstairs extension here from Team Liquid. Palu, of course, can use that shotgun to create rotations, as there's a couple of reinforcements peppered around as well to make these positions a little bit trickier to push through. Aniton with the shield extended, protecting Black Ray and Aegator from a potential spawn peak as they progress over towards the yellow door. I wonder how aggressive Aniton is going to be here. He's already having a cheeky gaze in towards the site to see what he can see.
And I know it's been mentioned a few times in the Cyclops matches that have aired, of course, so far here for SI, but for any new viewers, this is a very common sight to see Aniton on the Montang, so very much proficient at it. Doesn't necessarily always work out, and so far at SI, to be blunt, hasn't really worked at all when given the opportunity, but it's still something that Cyclops are used to doing. Generally, Aegator will play off the shield of Aniton. 2 minutes in the round, Team Liquid holding above, Suzu just looking to clear out these claws from PSK. Struggling at the moment. And it's actually taking a big amount of damage early on in this round.
Not gonna lie there, that breach there from Suzu looking a little bit sus in more ways than one as he tries to get that wall open. Still reinforced, of course, as Liquid still have control above, and CAG will need to clear this out if they are to get in towards the site. Could be a challenge, of course, as Moringa's also applying pressure inside of said site, and he gets the opener. It's a strong pick there onto Aegator as Cyclops are still desperately trying to get this wall open.
Really struggling at the moment here. Cyclops, Aniton unable to really have much of an impact besides just being a giant drone over at the bottom of yellow stairs. Moringa just happy to continue to be aggressive here. That's now soft wall. Still a minute left on the clock, so a decent amount of time for Cyclops to make a late play here. Moringa, though, getting a little bit antsy towards the garage doors. But right now, the onus is definitely on Cyclops to find a pick, and they do just that through Black Ray, and can get a second one as well. Nesk gets his head ripped off over at yellow stairs. Sexy Cake unable to respond. In fact, does not respond at all. 3 for the round now for Black Ray. He's got a quad. How has this happened? In the matter of about 10 seconds, Team Liquid have just been taken apart by Black Ray. Palu's still alive, but he's got so much to do, and he has a Shieldy boy right in his face.
One of the hardest sites in the entire game to retake, and in the 1 versus 3, surely it's impossible. Aniton avoids being taken down by the Nitro Cell as Palu desperately tries to find this kill with the SMG. Aniton baits him out by extending that shield back down. And this round's over. There's no way that Palu can get back into this one. No Nitro Cell, not much HP, and a lot of pressure being applied. That timer continues to tick down. Gatorada gets lit up, but Aniton finally finishes the job. And Cyclops will take round 1.
Full credit to Black Ray, but obviously that happens off the back of the Monty and the ability to keep control of the bottom of yellow stairs, and then we can allow Black Ray to sort of push up, as you can see here. Gets the swing onto Nesk and then continued that. I'm not sure exactly what happened there with Sexy Cake. Was holding it. I thought he was originally going to hold it and continue to push forward, and then just started sprinting. So clearly just misreading that situation, but a really good play from Black Ray, playing off the Montang and getting full control of yellow stairs.
I think Aniton really is going to be the player to watch in this game. And of course, Xenox, as you know, kills aren't everything in Siege, and he can often apply a lot of pressure to the defense. But he's going to slap me in the face and actually jump off the Montang, bringing instead the Sledge. And that, of course, will bring some handy utility to the team. 4 grenades in total here for Cyclops, and yellow stairs will be tricky to hold, even with that Jaeger on the board.
Yourself and I have seen a lot of Cyclops most recently, especially in the APAC playoffs, and one thing that I don't think I've ever seen is the fact that both Ying and Monty are available for Cyclops, and yet it's actually going to be Gatorada playing the Ying and not Aniton. So that is something that Cyclops have in their arsenal here on Consulate. The fact that anytime they can play both the Ying and the Montang. So a good start, they get the opening round on the attack, and this is where they're going to have to do the majority of their damage based on the way the op-ban phase went for Cyclops. They're on the attack first, get some good round wins here on Consulate. So it's a good start right now. We'll see if they can continue to capitalize.
PSK as well, bringing out the Warden in this round, an operator that is in a little bit of a niche. He might be positioned over towards me, and they have a deployable shield set up. He can play deep in towards that position and deny the balcony as well as the run up the stairs. CAG, though, they spawn in, of course, on the western side of the map, approaching from that side, suggesting they'll go for a yellow stairs take. That drone from Black Ray will try to scout ahead, but Sexy Cake, ready and waiting, will shut that information gatherer down.
And you just have to remember, because there's probably going to be some people wondering, why Cyclops? Why couldn't they play like this against G2? But this is a very different map. Consulate's been really good for them over the last couple of months as Team Liquid find the opening 2 kills around the Candela.
He's in the smoke.
Effective. Moringa just sitting inside of that smoke. Gatorada does not have an idea whatsoever. Pops out of the smoke. Gatorada gets shut down. Gator goes down to a 1 versus 4 scenario. And we'll have to emulate what Black Ray did in the first round by getting now 4 kills. But it's going to be much difficult as he's by himself.
That smoke there, deployed by the attack, ends up being devastating for Cyclops. Moringa, the game sense to just play off that, waits for the sound cue of the plant, and just dominates his opponent. Gator, unfortunately, now just left outside, and he'll just spam the stance, just memeing up a bit. I think he's laughing. It's a little bit tricky to tell on the player cam, but this is Cyclops for you. They'll just meme out the rest of the round, you know. Have a bit of a quick chat, and Gator will try and get something done, but Liquid know exactly where he is.
Well, for Liquid, I mean, they're going to be pretty happy with that round. The first round, they wouldn't have been too happy with their performance, especially the way that Cyclops were able to pretty much do as they pleased over at Yellow Stairs in that first round. But in this round in particular, it was the rush effect that just completely backfired for Cyclops, kind of like it did in one of the rounds in particular over on Cafe in the earlier match against G2. They went for a rush. I believe it was into reading, and they just got completely obliterated. And this was kind of similar in the effect, right? Where they go for the rush effect, Guz, and it just backfires straight away.
Yeah, like I mentioned, that smoke actually working out there in the end there. For Moringa, an opportunist play there, and unfortunately for Cyclops, not really doing a whole lot of groundwork in terms of gaining map control over towards the likes of Yellow Stairs and establishing control below, etc. It was always going to be really tough and a bit of a 50-50 round, and of course on the occasion it doesn't go their way. And it's again teasing us with the Monty, but again he'll go back on towards a soft breach as Team Liquid will rotate below.
1-1 though is the scoreline that I probably wasn't anticipating on seeing, and I was pretty adamant that it was going to be a Liquid win, and I still believe in that, but at least there's some decent signs here from Cyclops. They're willing to take the game on, play on their terms, look to engage, and something they were able to do well against G2 was getting those opening picks, winning a lot of those opening duels, and that's something they're going to need to do against Liquid, especially on these attacks most importantly, and then capitalize off that, which is actually something they couldn't do against G2.
Maybe. Ooh, Nesk though. Preparing for a spawn peak there. Of course, if you've ever played ranked on this map, you'll know that the spawn peaks can be pretty potent, but they've also crept their way in towards competitive play as well. But the entire team spawning over towards the northwest will be able to avoid that. And COG prepare once again outside of the yellow door, anticipating Suzu to go across to the main wall and begin opening that as the first of the frag grenades flies out to clear that barbed wire on the yellow stairs.
Well, the main difference this time is there's no Montang to play off, so that Yellow Stairs area may not be quite as fortified as it was in the previous attempt on Basement. Of course, Cyclops winning that one. So for Team Liquid, this should be a relatively easier time, especially above for all these players roaming around. Players like Aegator or Black Ray, once they try and go above and clear those roamers, they're not going to be as protected, I guess, below.
Adorado draining above. I can only assume that himself and Addington will want to link above and clear that area of the map to gain lines of sight in towards Garage. As you mentioned, no Monty on the board means they can't really rely on that perceived pressure over towards Yellow Stairs. We did briefly see as well there, Nesk, I believe it was, on the top floor, and Cyclops will need to be careful of that. Utility cleared. The wall is soft, and Aegator can now pop that halfway into the round.
Minute and a half remaining in the round. Still got a couple of players for Liquid still roaming about. Gatorada over towards Piano. Bit of damage on the Gatorada and Aegator actually here. They get that front of White Van wall opened up. Going to be the Evil Eyes just doing a little bit of damage, being a bit cheeky. Still time though for Cyclops. The fact that they've already got front of White opened up means that really just clear out a lot of this utility. They've got control of Piano above as well, but they haven't cleared out Nesk, who's still roaming around.
Aegator will be the entry. He makes his way to the front of White Van. That Banshee still standing though will slow him as he swings, but he doesn't get taken down, doesn't find a pick either. Still a bit of utility on the board here to indicate that this push is coming through for Team Liquid, but they need to try and do their due diligence and deny these plants. It's a great smoke canister there to push back Aegator, and this plant will be tough.
There's only one more smoke grenade available though for Sexy Cake. Still 30 seconds left to sort of deny here. I'm expecting Liquid's roamers to now try and find a few picks, but it's Black Ray who is now the roamer himself taking out Palu, and suddenly the kills just falling into Cyclops' lap here. They don't even need to get the plant down. They just obliterate Team Liquid on sight. There's nothing Sexy Cake can do. Moringa now left up into a 1 versus 4, and he gets taken down too. Cyclops are here to play here on Consulate.
Cyclops pretty happy with how that round went down, and rightly so. Liquid did a great job in pushing back the initial shove there from Cyclops, but they recovered, and Black Ray over towards Spiral just went absolutely huge. The rest of the team capitalizes upon that pressure from the backside of the map to eventually convert it. Good sign there for Cyclops, winning that round out. Of course, though, as you mentioned, it is, of course, we need to be measured on Consulate. Don't get too excited for Cyclops. We need to see them on their defense phase, really, before we can ascertain if they are actually a serious threat in this matchup. I have no doubt that Liquid, with so many sharp players on their team, can absolutely roll them on their attacks. So Cyclops have to go big here in this half and extend that lead massively.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
And I think for Blackro as well, especially being able to just start to find a few of these kills. This is twice now we've seen Blackray sort of be able to pinch in behind, get a few picks onto Team Liquid, and I think that's been the standout for me, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I have to agree with you on that one. I want to talk about this site, though. Of course, it's the first time we're going to see split played here by the defense. Tellers and Archives. Expect the defense to set up a lot of lines of sight from above, all the way on the top floor, as you can see now, and then all the way down below, where you'll often see defenders tossing C4s or nitro cells up through the floor to deny plants, as well as create lines of sight. I mean, you can just see how many have been created there by Liquid, who have a couple of shotguns available to create said angles. That, of course, means that Cyclops have a couple of options on how they want to approach the site. They can go from the western side, clear from Garage, or they could go from top down over towards admin on the eastern side of the map. Spawns though indicate a west side take, and expect them to try and get Garage quickly.
Yeah, we've been seeing this from Cyclops a couple of times now, mostly for the basement sides, but now even for split, they're going to employ this yellow stairs push in, open up the garage doors, as you said. Gator loitering around outside in the courtyard as now they look to find a bit of information here early on into this fourth round, in which Cyclops do lead 2-1. A surprise, but as you said, need to sort of just reserve judgment until at least we get to the halfway mark, or at least until that point, see whether or not Team Liquid can just find their footing on other sites, because right now it just feels like it's probably a basement only thing that is holding them back, and we'll see if it translates over here to split.
Adorata still outside the building, aware that Sexy Cake is trying to find this pick, but he enters now in towards Circle Desk, and Gator is alongside to support. So Cyclops now have decent control of first floor, at least on the western side, but there is still roamers lurking about, and there we go. It's Nesk on the top floor to drop Suzu. He doubles down onto Gator, and he's not traded out.
And this is where Liquid are definitely winning in this sort of area, getting these opening picks. That's now 3 out of the opening 4 rounds. They've been able to get these early picks, giving them the advantage. As you can see, the scoreboard hasn't quite translated into round wins all the time. Nice little push in from Blackgray. Takes out PSK, but Partly obviously has his position after that, gets the trade immediately, and it's still advantage Liquid in this 4th round. Anaton goes down, and suddenly normal service will resume for Team Liquid here as they look to equal it up 2-2.
It's a sense of deja vu here. Gatorada taking the same route he did a minute and a half ago outside, but on this occasion, Sexy Cake will get the kill from the window, and that's a Liquid round.
Yeah, and right now it just feels like, is it only Garage that's the issue here for Team Liquid? Everywhere else, they've been able to be quite successful. And in fact, you even brought it up twice now. We've seen Gatorada in that sort of 1v4 position here. So those rounds outside of Garage have actually been very one-sided for Team Liquid, despite the fact that it's a 2-2 scoreline. Liquid, when they win, they are winning a lot cleaner than Cyclops.
2-2 the scoreline. And the defenders now will rotate upstairs to console and a meeting. We have, of course, seen this objective played. It was a successful Liquid defense off the back primarily of Moringa's huge play inside of the smoke that was deployed by the attack. He was able to sit and wait, and he hunted down his prey. And Cyclops tried to get that plant down. Outside of that mistake from Cyclops, it wasn't a bad job in getting in towards the site. They went for a slightly riskier play and didn't elect to go for much map control elsewhere and cutting off a lot of those common rotations. So you can only assume that they'll play a little bit more conservative on this occasion, not trying to just directly yeet in towards the site, and actually be a bit more progressive as to how they approach it.
So Liquid have won CEO meeting, they've won Teller's Archives as well. It's, as I said, really just Garage that has been their downfall so far.
5 seconds left.
Kind of expect them to be able to take this next round out and get themselves a lead for what would actually be the first time in this match. Nesk continuing every single round looking for this spawn peak. So far, hasn't been successful in getting that one, but as I said before, Team Liquid themselves as a team have been successful in getting these opening kills 3 out of the first 4 rounds.
CYCLOPS sitting outside of the yellow window. PSK holding this on the defense, and he's sitting and waiting for all that utility to come through here from the attack. Flashbangs are in hand, alongside smokes from Gatorado if he decides to use those. Suzu will be the primary player here in terms of actually dislodging this player with a frag grenade. He has 2 in the pocket, and he'll be ready and waiting for the rest of his team to time this correctly.
And Liquid haven't really sort of put much of a foot wrong. I mean, if you think about a lot of the rounds the CYCLOPS have been winning, it's just Black Grey going huge. Team Liquid just not really winning their fights. I think the way that they've been defending, they've been holding their positions. They haven't necessarily sort of tried to get too aggressive, for instance, against a aggressive team from APAC like CYCLOPS. So Liquid's playing their game, and it's just a matter of time until it really starts to overwhelm CYCLOPS, I feel like. And we're already starting to see that. They're not even trying to bring the Monty and do any cheese strats with that. The Ying from Gatorada, maybe not too effective either. And as I said, outside of basement, it hasn't been ideal for CYCLOPS. And it does seem like it's Team Liquid who are really making things happen elsewhere.
A much slower round here for CYCLOPS, leaning heavily into their drones to ascertain as to where these defenders are. No cheese rush as they play quite slowly, and it does pay off for the first frag. Suzu connects one of those nades there onto PSK, who was holding that yellow stairs position. He claims it, but Palu with the nitro cell will take it back. It's a 4 versus 4 now with a minute to go, and Black Grey's probing with the F2.
Nice from Black Grey has been the starlet for CYCLOPS. Fortunately, though, Sexy Cake in a good position to get that trade back. Gatorada keeps the advantage on the side of CYCLOPS until Nest gets another one. 2 versus 2. As Ayagate are going to try and stick this plant now. Palu pushing into the top of Spiral. 40 seconds left. Candelas from Gatorada just starting to explode all around the map.
The retake's on here for Liquid. It's Palu to get the first, and he's left now in the 1 versus 1. Ayagator!
Oh, no.
What are you doing? He looks the wrong way. Palu gets the kill. Palu wins the round.
I mean, obviously just didn't have the information, guys. That's just such a lapse for CYCLOPS in what could have been a very winnable round to secure what would have been a minimum 3 rounds in the half. And Palu, who even got the kill onto Gatorada, is that not commed properly? All of 3 seconds earlier gets the kill and continues to push. I just don't understand how he's looking in the wrong direction, and Team Liquid will happily take that round and now at least guarantee themselves 3 rounds in the half.
Definitely miscommunication there from CYCLOPS late round. I did like what I saw there from Liquid. PSK, of course, taken down on yellow stairs, but they actually had a player situated, as we saw in Piano. The wall open. Throw the C4 up through the hatch and get that trade back. Thought that was a cool little play, and I guess then fast forwarding to the end of the round, Palu, God, he's just an absolute beast. The man just does not lose those. Even had Gatorada been looking the right way, honestly, or Ayagator, pardon me, whoever it was in that last clutch, even if they were looking the right way, Palu honestly would have swung that and won that anyway. So he's the man of the hour. He has been throughout stage 1, and CYCLOPS will need to shut him down. Now, of course, you know, Palu can't do everything, and he is being facilitated by his team, but his raw mechanical skill is just outlandish.
And honestly, you can say that for the majority of this Liquid roster and the way that they have been playing at SI, and if they can win this, they'll go 3-1 and looking pretty good to try and secure top 4 in this A group. But we head back down to the basement, and this is where Liquid have been struggling, guys. They have been unsuccessful so far in defending it against CYCLOPS. And Gatorada on the Nook. No Ying, no Montang. But so far, CYCLOPS are 2-0 in taking basement away from Liquid. Can they make it 3 from 3?
Gatorada on the Nook in this round, of course, can be cheeky and avoid detection from information gatherers like the default cameras or Moringa, rather, in this scenario, playing those Maestro Evil Eyes. Already used one of the frag grenades that he has in the pocket. It leaves 3 left in the hands of CYCLOPS for further utility. We saw them struggle a little bit clearing out some of the Banshees. We saw those red pings late round last time. And they'll need to be careful on this occasion. I think they're going to use the nades once again to try and clear the Kaid claws. So they'll need to be, again, mindful in how they ration those out.
And the way that Cyclops have been sort of winning this site, it's not the conventional way where you open up the garage doors, you maybe find a peak or two, get full control of that white van, full control of bottom of yellow, go for that default plant, usually with a few smokes or so, and then you fall back out, and then it's almost impossible to retake. Both times, it's been Black Ray literally pushing him from behind, going like the bottom of spiral, and then just pinching him from behind and finding like 3 kills, or the first time pushing up top yellow and then getting kills from there. So it's been 2 different ways for Cyclops, and that's at least a good sign. This time might be the more conventional approach, where you just sneak into the front of white van, get this plant down, but it gets denied by PSK. Gatarada, that is not going to work, and that diffuser is now stuck at the front of white van.
Cyclops in an awkward position now. Palu, of course, still has control above. Cyclops are going to filter up the stairs to try and clear this player out. But no, one gets taken down. It's an eventual trade, though, from Anaton, who's obtained control of yellow stairs. He'll elect to, of course, go above and use that skeleton clear to clear out some of these positions. Marunga feels the heat a little bit and backs off.
And Black Ray's down, so Black Ray's not going to be able to save the day this time. Liquid maybe just unlocking the way of being able to defend garage here. Suzu just pushes in, picks up the diffuser, expects the peek, and does, and he's able to take off the head of PSK. 3 versus 3. Evil Eye still somehow hasn't been eliminated. 30 seconds left in the round, though, and Suzu just getting quite cheeky here, pushing up further into garage. Now over towards the back of white van. Anderton gets a very, very critical kill, and now a 3rd one as well. Has been so ineffective at SI, but this time he gets 4 and wins the round for Cyclops. When they needed him, he stands up to end the half. Once again, Cyclops will take basement from Liquid.
It's a huge play from Anaton. Makes his presence known inside of the server. Cyclops, despite losing that first pick, are able to recover on the basement site, which they've shown some good form on. They sent it deep, they got those picks out, and unfortunately for Sexy Cake, as good as he might be, is unable to win that round out.
I mean, you can look at so many different ways to spin this, guys. We'd be here all day just sort of dissecting that opening half. But to put it blunt, Cyclops just better on basement, Team Liquid better everywhere else. And because of that, you still kind of have to back in Liquid the fact that they were able to win on other sites like CEO Meeting and Split. And now Liquid on the attack, though. Are they feeling the pressure here from Cyclops? This would be a monumental upset if the APAC team can knock off Team Liquid, pick up a win. Suddenly G2 will start sweating a bit again, because that one win they got may not even be enough. They might have to then find a second one because Cyclops are back in it. So there's so many different storylines that can be unraveled from this game if Cyclops can continue this effort. And lo and behold, we do head down to the basement here. Cyclops, will they be just as proficient on this site on their defense as they were on the attack?
IA claws being used here from Cyclops to deny the wall. And I wrongly believe that the Maverick in the previous round was actually going to use his nades to clear it. Of course, just cleared it off quite naturally, and by Maverick tricking. Team Liquid on this occasion can't rely on that technique, as no Maverick has been selected. Instead, we have Sexy Cake on the Thermite and Palu on the Habana. So unless they can pull off something cheeky, maybe towards yellow stairs, they will need to try and take control above. And talking about above, Anaton narrowly missing that spawn peak on the con window.
I'm pretty sure Liquid wasn't able to find a spawn peak at all on their defense half. We'll see if Cyclops can do it at some point. But one thing Liquid were able to do was get a lot of those opening picks. Now, it didn't necessarily always translate into round wins, but the spawn peak game, not too effective. And we'll see, obviously, for Cyclops, whether it can be for them. Anaton just going to continue to roam around, be a nuisance. And for Cyclops, that's just really in their DNA. Constantly on the move, constantly in different positions. And that's going to make it difficult for Team Liquid to sort of clear this roam.
Liquid are committing to clearing it, though. Nesk upside down on the CEO Repel, and PSK with an E1D covering him will look to take control of the top of yellow stairs. It doesn't deter Anaton too much, and rightly so. They have Gatarada down below gaining information for these players. So they should know where they're coming from. Anaton does, but he doesn't quite connect the deadly headshot.
Yeah, he landed a small tag. It was almost like a flesh wound onto PSK. Just enough, though, to at least give him a bit of a warning. And more than anything, by having to clear top down here, CYCLOPS are just at least buying themselves a lot of the time off the clock already. Minute 20 left. Liquid just struggling to deal with this roam clear. And I think they're almost going to have to abandon it. Aegator, though, just gets chunked quite heavily. Palu surely gets this kill. Does. There goes Gatarada.
Oh, Black Ray, though, sweeps through, gets the trade. Even just running straight through the E1D there, but I don't believe there's anyone from Liquid to say hello. He'll be able to get back down towards the site. And Team Liquid will need to try and recover the main wall. The garage wall is still electrified. I think Nesk might try to clear it with grenades, and Sexy Cake might try and open it after that. He will instead throw out the Gon 6, burning out that ADS device, more utility being dumped. So great teamwork here from Liquid. The nade to follow through, and Sexy Cake can now try and get the wall open.
It's all so late in the round,
electrified?
though.
Is it still electrified? I don't know if Sexy Cake is committing to it.
We didn't really get to see, but...
It is!
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Well, that's probably round over just there, I reckon, already for Team Liquid. It's just going to have to be a rush onto the site, try and win these trades with 14 seconds left. They did get control of Piano above eventually, but it's all a little too late. Got at least one side of this wall open, but boy, have they left it late. Nice swing, winning out that trade over at Yellow Stairs. PSK is in, back of White Van. Secure now into the cafeteria, but unfortunately, time has run out for Team Liquid. Left it way too late. 4-3 for CYCLOPS. And we've got a story brewing here on Consulate.
There's no doubt that those Kaid Electro Claws are difficult to clear, but I am fairly confident that a grenade, well placed, should be able to clear those out. Liquid did a great job in combining to burn out those 3 ADS devices we can see at the bottom of the staircase, but unfortunately for Team Liquid, the grenades don't quite hit the mark. We saw Sexy Cake run out to try and get the breach, then went up. It's still electrified, guys. We're going to run back inside. And then by that stage, time had already depleted, and CYCLOPS could hold on.
And I've got to say right now, guys, I am more than happy to put my hand up and say I got a bit of pie on my face because, you know, at the beginning of this game, I thought it was just going to be a Liquid slaughterfest. The majority of people probably did. The CYCLOPS have come out to play. They didn't feel that way. They thought, hey, we're going to Consulate. We're obviously very efficient here, and we're going to make sure that Liquid are not going to want to make that mistake later on in SI anywhere else on any other team to regret the map decision here. And for CYCLOPS, the fact that they got Consulate through here, if they win this game, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, they will not play it again at SI. I'm telling you now, guys, it will not happen. So you got to make use of it while you got it, CYCLOPS. Remember, they were 16-0, 16-0 on this map up until, what, 2 days ago?
Yep, C9 denied them of that record. Well, still a long way to go in this matchup, and Team Liquid making a small mistake. Close that round. It could have been a very different scenario had that main breach been open. Would have played out very, very differently. We now head up to lobby. Will CYCLOPS be as proficient on this site? They've got an aggressive roam above with Anaton, of course, with the traditional holes looking down in towards lobby, and that will task the likes of PSK to try and clear these roamers out. Once again as well, Gatarada is playing on the pulse. We saw him gathering some really nice intel for those roamers previously, and I expect him to do the same.
You just have to start to get a little bit nervous here if you're a Team Liquid fan or if you've bet your entire life saving of channel points on this game, because it looked like a pretty straightforward affair that Liquid were going to take it out, but it has not been the case. Black Grey gets the opening pick, but immediately traded back by Palu. Makes it 4 versus 4, but in all retrospect, that Team Liquid probably need as many players as possible if they do eventually sort of rush in for this lobby plan at some point. Still need to probably get a little bit of control above as well. A lot of time. E1D is going to go out. Sexy Kate just going to go straight in. This is going to be a rush plant. Have CYCLOPS got what it takes, though, to deny this? The diffuser, it is going to be successful. And now there's only 43 seconds left on the clock. Suzu able to get Sexy Kate, but the plant is down, and it should be pretty difficult for CYCLOPS to retake this.
Great pressure there from Nesk, denying Anaton from above. Does eventually find a kill off the back of that onto Gatarada. The jump out from Anaton. Oh, that could have been absolutely massive. But Liquid, they still have the advantage. Suzu on the diffuser. And with that vert, there's nothing he can really do about that. Nesk will close it out. And it's a big round from Liquid.
and a sigh of relief as well for Team Liquid. We've seen that sort of rush, you know, in terms of a plant many, many times over. Cyclops have had it happen to them on Consulate, and I'm actually a little surprised it was effective this way. Like the way that they are able to just get in that quickly, get the diffuser down. They did make sure that there was no one above when they did get that plant down. So while they didn't have necessarily full control of Pro, it was at least empty. And so able to get in, get that plant down. And as we know, guys, it's similar to sort of Garage, right? Once that plant goes down, very difficult to retake. And Cyclops, well, they've got to make sure that they are able to capitalize on this map. Liquid's a team that are going to be very formidable. They are going to continue to throw everything they've got here at Cyclops. This is not going to be easy. They head over to Split now. And what a game we have got here. 4-4. It's just back and forth.
Hey, Gatorado with the thrust. We finally get to see some PogMap play here over on Consulate. Bringing the bulletproof cameras for some nice intel in towards Visa. And can place those mats around to try and catch the attack off guard. Other players to highlight are probably Black Ray. He's been having a solid game so far, posting some good numbers, but across the board it has been a pretty consistent performance, really, from both teams. And even players, for example, like PSK, is still having a big impact there on the line, for example. And I think that's a really good selection, trying to at least minimize the amount of aggression that Cyclops are playing. Every time, remember, that we spectate a Cyclops defender, they're never standing still. They literally are WASDing at every single occasion.
Well, Black Ray's numbers here are actually very important. 11, 1, and 6. And the reason why it's important is coming into this match, had a 0.52 rating. That is literally second last at SI. So a minus 22 KD as well. And now just completely going ham against Team Liquid. Really good for Black Ray and from an individual perspective and that confidence, but obviously for the team as well. Laniton's another player too, having a very strong performance here on Consulate, gets traded, and like the round before, it is 4 versus 4 once again.
He forfeits his life to get rid of that lion that allows for some more aggression. And talking about aggression, it's a great grenade there from Nesk. Great work there to clear out that player above. The pressure now mounting on Cyclops as they think about trying to take this position back. But it won't be easy. I don't think this round will go the way of Cyclops. They have a lot of ground that they need to try and gain back. And there's intel as well. Nesk almost finding the floor bang there onto Zuzu, who's now forced back towards Talos.
And there's still so much time as well for Liquid to be able to just clear everything out, get all this info, Gatorado over towards main stairs. But ultimately, and he's about to get droned out here by Palu as well. Ultimately, time is just not on the side of Cyclops here. Liquid can just basically do as they please now. As you can see, Nesk now starting to push in on the Yana, get rid of all these defaults, and just continue to pretty much surround the site. And what's going to need to happen really for Cyclops is, it sounds simple, but you're going to have to hit shots as soon as Liquid come in and just try and win those duels. And that's something Black Ray has been able to do thus far. We'll see if he can do it again.
Black Ray playing that Yoda position at yellow stairs. He thinks there might be someone pushing down there, but Liquid, all their efforts are on the other side of the map. Alu on the entry though, he gets shut down. That's Gatorada, a long angle over towards Dungeon. And that might be the look, and that might be enough to get them back into this round, especially if Liquid can't play off this vertical. Moringa narrowly misses that player there.
Oh, that
could have been huge, but doesn't quite find it.
Oh, what's happening over the top of main stairs? Nesk and Gatorada having a duel of it. And while Liquid come away winners, Nesk is very much wounded. Black Ray still roaming around, has Suzu as well, down below. 20 seconds left. Liquid with a slight man advantage. Sexy Cake now going to start to push in. And Liquid should be able to just pretty much overwhelm the site here with that man advantage. Cyclops, do they just go for the retake here?
Sexy Cake jumps up onto the boost to go for the plant. 5 seconds left. If he goes for an attempt, he'll need to stick it.
Oh.
Moringa gets shut down. Sexy Cake, he has to stick the plant. Cyclops, no. They can enter towards the site. Surely they find him.
Wait, what?
He's in the smoke, boys.
What?
No, they've let him slip through.
Oh.
But eventually, he gets taken down. My word, Sexy Cake. Woo! Almost got away with that one, but Cyclops will close it out.
I thought he was about to sneak out the back door. and maybe then swing back around and, well, what would have been one of the more hilarious plays had that happened, but it doesn't. Cyclops do close it out. What a comical round, really, guys. Back and forth. It looked like, and you said Liquid surely can't lose it from here, and then they just throw their lives away. Like, these duels happening elsewhere on the map, even though Nesk won over towards main stairs, gets wounded. Like, look at this. It was sloppy. He took so much damage, almost even losing that one. And then Moringa, just losing these fights, unfortunately. It's just not ideal. Timeout, I think, is needed for everyone involved, guys.
Yeah, I need a bit of a breath after that. Honestly, if Sexy Cake had gotten away with that plant, I would have just called it a day. That would have been absolutely hilarious. And even Cyclops,
yeah, just walk
they were
out
laughing after that. Yeah, I would have just been done. But yeah, Liquid, you can see they're having a good debrief here in the TAC timeout, just making sure they have everything covered, get their heads back into the game. Bit of emotion here between the players as they discuss
they're not
what's
happy.
gone down in the first few rounds. I don't think they would be too happy, but at the same time, it's important to remember that they're still in this match. Consulate, Kenley,
oh yeah, for sure.
And as long as they keep that mental strong, they'll be fine. And it's also important to remember as well. And I hate this discussion, but saving strats discussion, they're not going to go completely deep into that strat book. They just need to refine what's going wrong here and just play off their man advantage. They had that in the last round off the back of that great nade, but the hecticness from Cyclops to continually try and retake above did eventually catch them off guard.
You've also got to give, full credit to the way that Cyclops have been playing here. Of course, they're very comfortable on Consulate. It's their map, as they should be. But most importantly, the big thing for me has been the fact that it's Blackray and Aniton. Regardless of the actual specific numbers, those two have been the impactful players for Cyclops. Now, they have been struggling at SI so far. It's mostly been off the back of players like Gatorada, Ayagator, and those two haven't actually been the starlets, as they usually are. The dynamic duo, as we call them over in APAC, it's been the other guys, and that just shows you that as a team, that's what Cyclops need. They need all their players, all 5 of them firing on all cylinders to be able to win these games at SI. That's what's happening here. That's why they're in this match against Team Liquid, and I think also just their play style, especially on a map like Consulate, the constantly moving meta that they employ works out really well here.
And on the topic of dynamic duos, Liquid, of course, with Nesk and Palu, have been performing really strongly. Recently, are also showing up in this server, having a huge impact and really highlighting their prowess. Cyclops, of course, they're going for the basement defense, establishing some lines of sight above. That's Gatorada with the 416, and Suzu sticking the Maestro for on-site intel as well. I guess is a spicy pick on top of all of that is Aniton with the Clash. Looking to deny this entry. I think Cyclops are pretty comfortable with allowing this, forfeiting this basically for free, as they can try to rely on Aniton. It's a little bit risky, but it could pay dividends.
Yeah, and they've got the player over at Pipes as well. So, yeah, playing off that Clash, playing off that shield, it's, something that Aniton does like to do, whether it's the Montang, whether it's the Clash. It is played both ways. And what I was going to mention here, of course, is it's one of either two things is going to happen here. Cyclops are going to have that 100% win rate on basement once again. If that happens, they will then get match point. If it doesn't happen, well, that can happen, maybe. That was completely left field. I wasn't expecting that one, guys.
Yeah, that's a strat I haven't seen before. Look, not much to really discern from that round. I guess the highlight was really Sexy Cake just walked up, opened the breach straight away, and that's what it is. But I mean, look at this from Cyclops. Honestly, how good is this? They're, the round's just disconnected. You'd have every right to be a little bit annoyed about that, and they're, just having a bit of a laugh, having a chat, and that's what APAC embodies. That's what Cyclops embodies. They love their positivity, and that can pull you through in some of these matchups.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think for Cyclops, they've definitely got all the chance in the world here. Just have to win this basement site. You win this, you've got 2 match points banked up. And to cause what arguably would have to be one of the bigger upsets here at SI, maybe the biggest, guys. I don't know if, we can claim that yet, but no one expected Team Liquid to win this. And Cyclops, off the back of their loss to G2 Esports, for those who maybe missed that one, G2 were pretty comfortable in that win. It was not really all that close. And Cyclops have shown up here on Consulate, and they've been very impressive to watch. And for Team Liquid, I don't think they've been that bad. I think they're just playing Cyclops at their best.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe there's a little bit of an APAC aura being established at the moment. I've just got word that Cloud9 beat FaZe, which is pretty funny at the moment. So
really,
maybe this is APAC's time to shine. This is APAC's time to shine. Maybe.
What was the score?
Who knows? I am not too sure what the score was.
Oh.
I'm sure chat can tell us. Can you tell us, chat, what was the score? Please?
Yeah, chat, what was the score between Cloud9 and FaZe? Because if it's the fact that has happened, Guz, maybe rings true that it could just be the moment of the hour here for the APAC
wait,
region.
7-2?
7-2?
What? Sheesh! Oh my word, that's nuts. Let's go. Gotta shove into that APAC love for that. That is worthy of a sheesh. I've been waiting all tournaments to say that. Wow.
Well, it's if we can say this, day one was the day for the Brazilians. Day three might be APAC after all, when it's all said and done. But we've still got a match here. It's by no means over. Team Liquid are a team you do not want to count out in any way, shape, or form. And for Cyclops, they're aware of that. Despite the smiles and the feeling of self-confidence here, they know they've still got a job to do. Got to win basement here. It has not been won, I will repeat, not been won by Team Liquid on either attack or defense so far. 100% win rate from Cyclops. They go back to it now as it opens up for them. We'll see if they can continue this trend and then get match point.
If you are just joining us, maybe you've jumped across from that Cloud9 and FaZe match as that Stream B goes on break. Unfortunately, there was a DC in the previous round that is going to be replayed. It's basement. All the players need to play the same operator, same kits, etc. So you probably anticipate it to play out in a similar fashion. Last time the round was attempted, Sexy Cake on the hard breach walked up and got the wall open almost immediately. As you can see, Cyclops bringing no wall denial, instead relying on the vertical presence and the likes of Anaton to prevent that plant from going down.
Yep, spot on. It's almost like inviting them, handing them the keys to the garage door. Shield place over to the left side of the white van as well. And as you said, Anaton's going to be the nuisance. He's going to make it difficult to take control of yellow stairs. And then you've got the player, if they want, that can then play behind the shield. It's typically going to be Alligator. There it is. Oh, he gets the headshot. Spawn peek on the Palu. Black Ray's got Nesk as well. 4 versus 3 advantage for Cyclops. The E1D is going to be deployed, but PSK might be too late with this one. Sexy Cake to open up the garage doors, and maybe something is just brewing here. Maybe it is the hour of APAC.
Oh, Liquid though, they get aggressive, but Alligator greets them.
What is
Anaton is just
happening?
pushing them back, and now it's Sexy Cake outside of the breach. And there's nothing that he can do, surely.
Oh,
it's a 1 versus 4, and Anaton is literally laughing. He is memeing right now outside, giving Sexy Cake a big fat hello.
Oh. Sexy Cake just ignores him, pushes into sight. It's match point. Alligator with a quad says, see you later to Team Liquid. Cyclops on the verge of completing one of the biggest upsets here at SI. 2 match points in the back pocket.
Let's just watch that back again. Oh, wow. This is insane. And it's a huge upset when you think about the fact that Liquid are one of the best teams in Latin America, arguably one of the strongest regions in the entire tournament. And Cyclops, they made it through in the APAC qualifiers, arguably one of the weaker regions. But then if you want to look more map specific, Cyclops are actually a pretty damn good team on Consulate. They're not a walkover at all. And they are playing really well at the moment. They are just bringing ridiculous aggression. They're spawn peeking with Clash. What? You just don't do that.
Yeah.
You just do not do that outside of the APAC region. But Cyclops, they're making it work. They need to still be careful, though.
Can I just say, Gus, that, you know, there's probably a lot of people who are like, well, why didn't they play like this against G2? Well, G2 banned Consulate immediately. They gave Cyclops the respect of taking out their best map off the board straight away. Whereas Team Liquid have felt like, okay, yeah, 16-0 and then 16-1. Cloud9 beat them here. Can't be that bad. Well, it's turned into a disaster here. And I'm going to be completely honest. Team Liquid should not have taken Cyclops to this map. Any other map. Literally any other map. And I think Liquid win comfortably. And they're going to back, and it's going to pay. This could be maybe, I'm not going to say top 4 is gone for Liquid. There's still a chance you can get top 4. But it could be something that, you know, puts a dent into that.
Yeah. At this stage, they basically are confirmed for the playoffs, but you do want to be starting with as high a seed as possible, and starting in that upper bracket is a massive advantage when it comes to the 6 Invitational. Focusing our efforts on this round, though, and of course, Liquid still have a great chance to bring this one back, as CYCLOPS haven't spawn peaked 2 of their members in the first 30 seconds of the round, which is always beneficial. Adorada down below on the pulse again, gathering some really valuable information for his team. Palu can gain counter information, though. He's playing the Jackal, can use that Inox scanner to try and clear above. But like I mentioned, CYCLOPS know that they are pushing from this part of the map.
And Sexy Cake off the Thermite onto Lana. That Nitrocell is literally 1 centimeter away from having killed PSK. But he's low, very low for the remainder of this round. And I should mention that CYCLOPS have been able to get the opening pick in the last 4 rounds in a row. They've won 4 out of the last 5 rounds. This has just been a tsunami that has hit Team Liquid head on here on Consulate. They start to make their way in now, but I've got a fear for them. I feel like CYCLOPS have all the momentum here to shut them down.
Minute 30 into the round. Good control ascertained on this side of the map by Liquid, and Sexy Cake with those X-Kairos can open up a line of sight in towards meeting. But Anderton, he swings the hallway. I think he may have denied those pallets from detonating. Of course, Sexy Cake does still have 12 in the bank, and he can reattempt that, but it is delaying a little bit of time here for Team Liquid.
And this is where also the nerves kind of probably kick in for both teams. Team Liquid obviously don't want to lose this match. CYCLOPS, you're on the verge of winning. You're this close. You know you don't want to make a mistake. You lose this round, and then Team Liquid only need 1 more to send it to OT. So every little fight matters so much. Got to be pinpoint perfect. Nesk over towards Long Desk didn't quite get the headshot that he wanted. The E1D is going to be deployed once again by PSK. 45 seconds left. Has 1 more in the back pocket. Nesk at around half health here on the Yana. Just fighting out on the top floor here against CYCLOPS and still unable to get a pick. CYCLOPS with all 5 players fully health intact.
And Liquid still have all of their utilities. So many nades, smokes, flashbangs that can be used. We can see all that utility getting sent out as Sexy goes for the plant.
Got him! What? That's 2 picks for CYCLOPS. Sexy Cake's gonna go in, try and get the diffuser, but it's shot down. It's Anaton. Triple kill in the clutch round. The diffuser is down though, but Anaton immediately on for the counter diffuse, and PSK does not realize CYCLOPS have melted Team Liquid on Consulate.